Hi my loves, I am delighted to introduce you to my Christmas tree Advent notebook, and on the side here we've got some stitching. We've got a removable little gem here that I've made, that's on a lobster clasp, so that'll come off. On the front here we've got another bauble that's treated. This one is UV resin. I'll show you how to do that, but you can also use glossy accents or you can leave it plain paper. That's also on a lobster clasp, so that can be taken out and used for something else. And inside we have got a plain paper spread which has got lines on it on this aged paper, and that alternates with this kind of page which is patterned aged paper, and we've got 4 pockets, and in each pocket we've got a little bauble, and that's got a writing space on the back. Now there are 24 little baubles throughout this book, alternating with the plain paper, then a bauble page, then the plain, and then a bauble right the way through the books. Now I haven't numbered these, I didn't want to be too prescriptive, but if you want to go ahead with a gel pen, a metallic gel pen or a gold pen or something, either write on the baubles or on the pockets, then there's your Advent calendar. Now I think what I'm going to do with mine is play Advent hide and seek with my daughter. On each of these baubles I'm going to write a little clue, and I'm going to hide 24 treats throughout the house, and then the 25th is this little removable bauble here. You could also use this as a mindfulness journal, as a little bit of gratitude journal. You could give it to somebody with 24 little quotes or memories or something like that, and there's plenty of writing space for you there as well. So as a gift it's gorgeous. For your own self it's a beautiful little bit of self-care and indulgent luxury. And this notebook will also stand up. It's difficult to show you on this angle, but I'll try and get the idea across to you. With a little bit of arranging, these pages will all fan out evenly if you take the time to do it, and your Christmas tree will stand up. And so this will make a really, really nice little display piece as well. Come with me and let's see how it's made. Right, here we go then. I've got all my bits and bobs cut out. My paperweights first of all. I've used 200 gram for page 1, which is this page here. And all these little baubles, lots of little pieces in this kit, and I'm reverse printing everything with page 7 with this lined aged paper backing. Apart from this page here, you don't need to reverse print page 6, but because I'm a twit, I have done. These pages 3 to page 5 are on 120 gram, and page 2, which is these baubles here, are on 200 gram. Now, as you know, I love my 250 gram, love it. And for larger items, that's beautiful. For smaller items, 200 feels like 250 because they're smaller. And also, you're not going to get the bulk. It's not going to look clumsy and too heavy. And also I've printed these on my Cricut machine. You won't lose much size because I've arranged the pages so that they're a little bit smaller, so they fit on your print then cut without much loss. If you're cutting by hand, wow, I admire you. Look at all these bits. I'm going to start with my pages. Pop all these guys off to one side for now. Now ordinarily, as you may know, I like to fold everything together, but I'm not going to do that in this instance because everything feels a bit too solid, a bit too thick because of the size of it, and also all of your pages come out like this. Now I'm not going to have my pages all facing in the same direction. If you look at that, when it becomes a booklet, you've got always going to have on the left the lined paper and on the right the pattern, and then when you get to the past the center, it happens in the other direction. You get a lined page and then you get this patterned piece on the left. No, I don't want to do that. You can if you want to, by all means. What I'm going to do is have my pages like this. So I'm going to have them right sides together, if you like, lined sides together, and then pattern sides together like that. So that when I come to open my book up, I begin with a lined page, and then I get a double page spread of the patterns, and then I get a double page spread of the lines. So that's how I'm going to fold all my pages, and I'm going to do I'm going to have a go at doing each one individually, I think, and see how it looks. I may end up folding them all together. We'll do that one that way. And this 120 gram feels quite nice and stiff because of the scale of this thing. We're going to be all right like that. I'm going to do them individually. I've got a lined page to go next. And of course you're going to get this little bit of overlap here, and I'm happy with that. I'm living with that. And then of course I've got my cover. Here it is. Absolutely love it. I was up till, gosh, 3 AM this morning designing this, and hot-footed it out of bed. Not first thing, but it was the first thing I thought about when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, I've got to go and make this. You need to sleep when you've got a project on the go, right? So there we go. They are our pages, and that's what our notebook is going to look like. And I'm going to stitch this. So I've got my trusty book open in roughly the middle to give me this nice little valley to pop my work into as I go. And I'm lining these pages up as well as I'm able, bearing in mind that I am going to have this slight slope on the pages. And I'm going to get a bulldog clip on each side. Just hold my pages in place. Then I'm going to open the form up, pop it in the spine of my book so everything's sitting nicely there. Take my pokey tool, and I'm going to make a pamphlet stitch, but I'm going to add another stitch as well. So in the middle, I'm going to make a hole. And then towards the top, I'm making another hole. I'm going about 1.5 inches maybe from the top there. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, about 1.5 inches from the bottom. And then at the top, I'm going to make another hole, leaving myself about 1/2 inch from the top maybe. Let's go a little higher, why not? So yeah, about 1/2 inch from the top, make yourself another hole. Let's see if I've gone all the way through there. It's quite a lot to go through. Don't think my middle one went through quite. There we go, all my holes have gone through. I can lose my book. I've got my nice thick wool needle threaded up with some thread. I'm going to go up through the hole in the middle. No, I'm not. I'm going to go down through the hole in the middle, leaving myself a little tail here. You need about 2.5 lengths of thread. I would allow for 3 because we've got this little extra guy at the top here. And then I'm going to come up through this hole here, the bottom hole of the top 2. There. And then I'm going to break with a pamphlet stitch tradition, come down through this hole here. And then I'm going to go back through the second hole that we've made. Like that, and then I'm going to continue as normal for a pamphlet stitch, which is now running all the way down to the bottom hole here. Feels a little bit counterintuitive, but it's not. And then back up through this central hole here, and then you want 1 thread on each side of this long piece of thread. Pull everything tight, make sure it looks absolutely gorgeous. Would have been a good idea to use a coloured thread and didn't. So when you tie your knot, you lock this long centerpiece here down onto the page. You're tying over the top of it. So there's my knot. And trim that off. take off my bulldog clips, and there is my lovely, lovely book ready to have a little dangle put on that last bit there. So now we can decorate this book, and the decorating of the book is all about these pockets first of all. But before I set to the pockets, I want to teach this booklet that it needs to be able to fold open both ways. So with a folding bone, I'm going to make those creases all nice. Then I'm going to take it from the centre and fold it back on itself. You do want to be mindful and a bit careful that you don't go tearing these little holes here. So treat it gently, but also you need to be telling it what to do. So we'll go that way, and then I'm going to open up each page like this. And being mindful, like I say, of these stitches. You're going to take the next page from that side and the next page from that side, fold them down this way. That's if you want your Christmas tree to open and stand up like a Christmas tree when it's all done. There we go, where's my beginning? There's my beginning. There, and then you'll start to be able to mess about with this and shape it so that your pages open, and they will learn. Paper has the ability to learn, oddly enough, so that when you get going you can fiddle about with that and make it so that your pages stand up nicely and you get them all kind of quite even. But we won't go into that too much at the moment because we've got a lot of pockets to stick on, so let's do that. Right, so to the pockets. Now in this kit of many little parts there are a lot of pockets, and there are 24 big and little pockets, and there are 24 baubles for your advent. So we're going to open first onto our writing page like that, leave that blank, turn it over, and this is where I'm going to start sticking my pockets. Obviously you're free to play about with these pieces and do whatever you like. I really encourage your own creative twists on my kits. And you've got one of these big curved pockets to go on either side, allowing a couple of millimetre border at the bottom there, and don't put it right up to the edge. You could go right up to the edge, I suppose you could do that. I think aesthetically that's a little bit more pleasing, a little bit of a gap. And I'm going to put a narrow seam of glue, as narrow as I can get away with, at the side, the straight edge and the curved edge, leaving the top angled part open. And I'll pop that on. And the same on the other side. Like that. And then I've got two smaller pockets to go on each of these double page spreads. And again, I've got lefts and rights. And a little string of glue. I'm going to glue the short straight edge and this edge here. The diagonal edge is my opener. So again, the slight border all around, and the same again for this one. I'm going to go along this straight edge and the short edge and leave the diagonal as my open pocket, and place those directly on without skidding it around if possible, and straight as well. So I'm going to repeat that now for each of my patterned pages. My lined pages here I'm going to leave empty, and then all of these pages I'm going to stick my pockets on. No point doing that on camera because I'm sure you'll get bored. So all my pockets are in and they're drying. I'm going to let those dry properly before I go sticking my baubles in them. And I've got one more pocket to stick on, and that is this pocket here. And this is a secret pocket. This pocket will line up with the pattern on the front. So there you go. I'll stick that one on. Again, tiny little seam of glue down the short edge and along the curved edge. And then I'm going to try and line this up before I stick it down so that it doesn't slide about and I don't extend my little glue layer in there. I don't want that sliding about and reducing my area of the pocket because it's quite a small pocket. So line that up, that's pretty good, and stick that on. There we go. I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to go for a cup of coffee and then I'm going to come back and we'll finish off. There we are. All my pockets are dry. This one, but you can't even see it. Fabulous. Right, we're going to stuff this with the baubles now. But before we do, we need to keep some baubles aside, and that is these two here, which will go back to back to make our dangle. And then there are also two, the same here, that are smaller than the rest, and they will also go back to back. So put those to one side, and then really fill your boots by filling these pockets. Obviously, first time in, they're always difficult to get in, aren't they? Fill your pockets with your baubles. And we've got small baubles for the top, and we've got large baubles for the bottom. And they will stick out over the edges of your pages. They were designed to do that. And then you've got your plain page, and then you've got your nice pattern page. Oh my goodness, I was yeah, I think I've already said, haven't I? I was up till getting on for 3 o'clock this morning designing this, and I sent the files to my other computer ready to be printed out this morning, and woke up and thought, oh, what's today? And then I thought, oh, my Christmas tree, sprung out of bed, desperate to see this thing completed, and here we are. So do those as randomly or as aesthetically and mindfully as you feel you want to. I can't wait to have a flick through in a moment and see what it's looking like. I'm going to get a nice solid blue one in there and a little red one up here. And I hope that I've done my calculations right, even though it was late and I was very blurry-eyed. And I hope that I've got enough of everything. And the last one, I should have 4 left. I've got 4 left. I panicked that this one was hiding underneath the Christmas tree. There we go. It is done. Apart from this one at the front, we're going to do that in a minute. Looking forward to that. So this one's going to go in here. Let's pop it in for now. This is what we're looking like. Plain page for writing. Oh, look. Love it, it's looking good, and I'm very glad I used the paperweights I use now. If you're using heavier and lighter, for instance, if you've got 250 gram in stock and 100 gram in stock, use those for your card elements and your paper elements, and it looks really good when you open it as well. Can't really get it across on the video too well, but you get the idea. Now we're training these pages to go backwards as well as forwards. We can get this kind of 3D standy-uppy tree effect going on with a little bit of a fiddle. So there we are. Let's move on to these little pieces here. So I'm going to begin by gluing these two pieces together. And I'm going to put a lot of glue on because I'm going to be UV resining mine. You don't have to do that to yours. You can leave it plain. You can use glossy accents. You could use clear embossing powder. You could even use Mod Podge to glaze, or you can just leave it plain paper. I love matte plain paper. There we are. And the same again with this one. Glue this one together as well. And then I'm going to let those dry properly before I go faffing about any further. Tiny little one. They look so cute. Right, let them dry, Emma. Right, hopefully my little baubles are dry enough. And I haven't got room for an eyelet in there, not even a small one. I don't risk it. So I'm going to go in, whoops, I'm going to go in and make a hole, and my trusty book with its padded cover comes in again. So I'm going to make a hole with my pointy tool through the middle. Of my bauble, being very careful because I haven't got much to play with. So I'll enlarge that hole very carefully. So I can get it all the way up my pointy tool. There we go. That's okay. Phew, did it. And the other way to get those paper edges sitting in the middle. That'll do nicely. And the same with this one. I don't need as big a hole for this one because I've got a different idea in mind. I'll just go through. Same on the other side. There, that will do nicely for that one. Now I'm going to resin mine. Like I say, you don't have to resin. No, you don't. You can leave them plain paper. I'm also going to ink my edges. Am I going to do that first? I think I am. My little gubbins. Just lose that raw paper edge. I haven't inked the pages of my notebook, and I haven't inked my baubles either. I could go and do that, but at this point I'd rather get on with the tutorial and get this made. There we go. So that's those. Now then, with a bigger piece with UV resin, and this isn't a UV resin tutorial, but seeing as we're here, with bigger pieces, you run the risk of curling. There's something like a 3% shrinkage rate on this stuff. So when you're doing bigger pieces, it's recommended that you go in with a couple of thin layers. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do because I've come so far with this that I want it to be right. So just tease it out to the edge. It's quite a thick liquid like glossy accents, so it's very happy to sit at the edges. The surface tension keeps it there very nicely. And just go round the hole. It'll sit round the holes quite nicely as well. Any air bubbles you can pop out with a pin or a little bit of heat. There we go, getting a nice evenish layer there. It's not very thick. I can go back in and redo that if I want to, but I might keep it quite thin for this one. Then I'm going to get my lovely little UV lamp. And all of this, if you're not familiar, is available in a kit. I got mine from Amazon. It was under £20, about £17 I think. And yeah, it's fab. It's fab. So plug in my little lamp. I'm going to have to do that just over here because it doesn't reach far enough. Press my button, leave that for the 60 seconds and then that'll be cured. So there we go. These are done. I've repeated it on the other side as well. So I've got this nice shiny, very rigid finish on this little bauble here. I wanted to keep this one quite slim because I need it to fit in the pocket. I like that. It looks great with that shiny little addition on the front there. And this one, I did a thin layer on both sides and then I went and domed it. I added more and just let it settle by itself, gently encouraged it to the edges and then let it settle. You can do the doming with the glossy accents as well. It looks really nice. I've got a nice little jewel there. Right, now let's get this baby finished. And I am going to enlist the help of my little jewellery supplies here, and I'm also going to pop a tassel on. Not least because I've got about 5 million of the things. I know I ordered 100 from eBay, No, I didn't. I ordered 100 from Amazon, and they're in all sorts of different colours, and they're lovely. And I keep using them and using them. It was a really good buy. Right, why don't we start in here? Let's get an eyelet. I've got my little eyelet tool. Not an eyelet, Emma. A jump ring. Choose a suitable size. I think that'll do us just nicely. Maybe go for one bigger. I'm going to have two things hanging on it. Yeah, let's go for that one. And I'm going to open my jump ring using my tool. And I'm going to pop it through this top little bit of string here, and then close it again. And that is where my tassel is going to go, through here like this. Loop it round through itself. There. So that's my tassel. I mean, that looks great just by itself, doesn't it? How nice. And I'm also going to add one of my little baubles here as a little dangle. So I'm going to take myself. You don't have to do this if you've got different ideas and equipment. By all means, use what you have. If you want to go down this route, this chain is really, really good. I've got another one I don't use so much. Let's show you that so you don't make the same mistake. This chain here is a bit too fiddly, a bit too fine. It looks lovely, but the links are really, really small. So I tend to use this one here, which suits me much better. So I'm going to cut myself a little length. How long do I want this? Let's cut a bit and then I can shorten it if I want to. So this is an aged bronze effect chain. Absolutely love it. I've got all the silvers as well, but this is my go-to. I really, really like it. And then a set of jump rings like that come with this little tool. It's really, really handy. And, you know, it's not expensive. It's not expensive, but you will have that forever. I mean, how many? I think there's 200 of those in there, and lots and lots of chain there as well. So I need a jump ring. Did I get a jump ring out? Let's get a nice little jump ring for this job. I'm a devil for opening these with my fingernails. I shouldn't. My fingernails have enough to contend with my gardening without putting them through extra pressure. And then if you haven't got any jewellery supplies, a couple of pairs of pliers are so handy as well. You get the chain cutter in them as well, and I would suggest if you haven't got them, you need a set of flat nose pliers like this and a set of round nose pliers, and with those two things you can do lots and lots of other things as well. Oh, look at me, I've shut that and I needed to put the chain on it. Let's open that up again. This one's much easier to deal with than the other one, she says. My eyes aren't what they were. Things like threading needles that my daughter can do like in a moment take me ages. There we go. And it's more by luck, like eventually, you know, the thing's going to fall on, isn't it? So that's that. Let's just check the length of it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little shorter perhaps. Now what I can do with this, yeah, go on, I'll do it for the sake of the video. Even though this isn't a video about jewellery or junk journal jewellery and dangles and embellishments, I'm here and I'm having fun. I'm going to grab something back in a moment. Here we go. These are lobster clasps. And they're great. I mean, they're jewellery fastenings really, but we're junk journalers, aren't we? So we repurpose. And then I'm going to get a tiny little jump ring this time. And fiddle about. Get my lobster clasp on there and also get my little chain end on there. which is going to go on like an absolute charm. There we are. Close up my little jump ring. And then I have a detachable dangle. If you're giving this as a gift, this is a really nice touch. So that dangle can be taken off and used for something else. It looks lovely, very, very happy with it. This one I'm going to treat in a very similar way. So I'll get myself a jump ring of a suitable size. Pop it through my hole. There. Now what am I going to do with this? Am I going to put a piece of chain on it again? I think that would look nice. Or I've got a piece of elastic here I was toying with. I could put it on a piece of elastic. Like that. I think that looks a bit coarse. I could put it on a piece of ribbon so that it would dangle from a tree. You could have it as a removable Christmas decoration. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dangle again. And that will then pop in there. And there we are. I've got, pop that behind. Can get lost in the pocket a little bit. I'm finished. I'm done. Let's push all this out of the way and let's have a look. I've got I think this looks really cool. I really, really love the way that's turned out. And my little domed jewel on the end there of this bauble looks really well. We've got our removable dangle that will clip onto anything. Great. Looks good. That lives in that pocket. So we are done. I hope you've enjoyed that tutorial. I've really, really enjoyed making this. I think it looks absolutely next level fantastic. Really, really good, really professional. Have loads and loads of fun, guys. I will see you next time.